It's fine.
No, thanks. You're not ready, Josh. I don't think you're not in a good place either. Physically, I mean. If you put in some time this week, you'll be ready for next week, though. That'd be great.
Yeah, I have to take some rest. A lot of work. Sorry about that. Yeah.
All right. All right. Hey, we're up. It's Wednesday, the May 13th. It's one of my son's birthday, actually, now that I think of it. It's a good thing I got him a birthday gift a little while ago. Okay. Phew. It's a good one, too. All right. Hey, anyway, this is the Meshery Dev meeting, and welcome. If you're on the meeting, please pop open your webcam so we can talk to each other, be a community, exchange, communicate. If you are on the call, then you can hear my voice, which means that you can also type your name into the meeting minutes. And so drop your name in. Some of you were here when we gave out the $1 million last year at the end of the year. So you all know what happens at the end of this year. We double that and give out 2 million. And that's just a raffle. Your name goes into the hat as many times as your name shows up in the meeting minutes. So, yeah, just a small little incentive. That's all. No life-changing, $1 million or anything. We record the meetings and they go out on YouTube. So uh, if you need to catch up or I need to leave early, you can watch the recordings out there. Do we have now's the time to get the rest of the meeting organized, the rest of the agenda? Do we have any agenda items or announcements, maybe things that are happening in our ecosystem that people want to talk about? Different topics that you have? Now is a good time to get those put in. In the Zoom chat, there's a link to the meeting minutes. Ranak has put that in there, so you'll find it there. My name is Lee. I'm one of the maintainers. Yash Sharma was speaking a second ago. He's one of the maintainers as well. I think we've got a few other maintainers on the call. We need to make sure that they're all co-hosts. Yash might be hosting next week, so it might be a little more lively than how it is this week. Yash only had a couple of hours of sleep, so I've had a couple more than he has, but I feel like I've had less. So anyway, I'm a little slow. So next week, hopefully Yash is here and he'll be able to give you a different perspective, a different outlook. But Yash, we've got something we might want to track is KubeCon India. I think that's early or mid-June, and just
Yeah.
maybe for next time or something, if we've got activities or just things that are being planned, if that's on Shivai's radar, it's on your radar as well.
Sure. Yeah, I'll put that in next meeting again and make sure to plan it. But I most probably may not be able to travel
Oh,
because of work. But
yeah.
I'll try to connect with Shiva to make sure I have all things done for the booth, and I'll put
Oh,
that on the next week agenda.
oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, especially since you might not be there. So that's a double extra thanks for helping organize, helping. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Yeah, man. Boy, I had big hopes that we might be just very well represented at a KubeCon India, just with as much contributor representation as we have from that region. So so good. So I'm excited. Although Mumbai is a bit Well, maybe it's a bit humid all year round, but is it a bit humid this time of year?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much too much, and that's why maybe I have one more reason to not go. But yeah, I think we will see a lot of contributors there because last time in KubeCon India, I have got introduced to so many people who was contributing in Mishery. So I'm hoping this time as well we will see a lot of contributor side. I'm not expecting too much from the part of as a user from KubeCon India compared to KubeCon U that we had. But yeah, more from the contributor side we can expect just to compare. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. That's good. I'm just doing some housekeeping here. So Husaina is with us, and Ian is here, and Kavitha is here. Oh, sorry. I sometimes I can almost multitask, almost. But today I'm a little bit slower, so it's just like a single track thing. Okay, well, good. Well, hey, just before we jump into the rest of the topics, we'll take the next 2.5 minutes maybe and ask, is there anyone that's new on the call today? Anybody that hasn't been on a Meshery development meeting before? Because it'd be nice to get to know you just for a moment, just to be able to say hi. And so if you haven't said hi on this call, the Meshery dev meeting, please do to take yourself off mute and say hello. I'm going to look around the room, see if there's anybody that might want to say hello or hasn't yet. Soham, ba, Bob Recker, Recker. Soham, have you had a chance to say hi before? You want to just introduce yourself real fast?
No, no. This is my first time.
All right, that would be a yes, yes. Okay, good. Yeah, hey, man. Hello.
So hi everyone. My name is Soham. I'm an student and an open source contributor. This is my first development meeting, so I'm excited to be here and learn from the community.
Awesome. Awesome. Thanks
So
for speaking up. Yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
so I'm interested in open source web development and cloud native technologies, and I'm looking forward to contributing more and and collaborating with everyone here.
Beautiful. Uh, hey, Soham, great to meet you. Thanks for jumping in. Good. There's lots of cloud native running around here, so you're
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
right spot. Virat, Mr. LLM documentation. Do you want to say hi real fast, or have you introduced yourself on this call before?
Uh, Hi everyone, this is Virat this side. This is not my first development meeting, this is my third development meeting. I am a CSE student currently in my second year, and I am also looking forward to the open source contribution.
Cool. Good deal. Virat, have you introduced before?
Yeah, in very first meeting, in that is around in April.
Oh, very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. All right. Anybody else? Well, good. Well, Virat, thanks for humoring me and going and introducing again. It's nice to for other people to get to say hi to you as well. All right. Well, that brings us up to, I think, well, there's one topic I just remembered that we should, it's probably not an announcement, but I'll put it down here. We should make sure that we get to it. But that brings us up to our first topic, though, with Kavitha. And Ranak, do you guys want to take us through the first item?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, I'm Ronak, and I'm very happy to announce that we have officially completed our Certified Meshery Certification Study Hall. So this was a series of 12 around sessions that was running around for a couple of months. And it helped people to prepare for the certification, which is the CNCF one of its kind certification in Meshery. And I'm really thankful to Kavita who took the initiative of taking this forward, and Yash Mahakal and all others who have engaged with the study hall. So all of the information regarding the study hall has been updated in the discussion forum that you can find on discuss.layer5.io. And there are some things that, since we would be not be having another session for the study hall, that meeting needs to be removed from the calendar. There's also a playlist that has been updated for this meeting. So if we go to the calendar, there's also a good first issue that anyone can hop on. So in this certified Meshery study group meeting, this YouTube link points to the Meshery YouTube channel rather than the playlist. So this needs to be updated to the playlist link that you can find over here. And if we are putting up any other meeting, for example, the community meeting for the same date and time, that needs to be replaced as well. So yeah.
Thoughts, questions, comments? Yeah. All right. Nice. All right. Well, hey, I injected the next topic so that we make sure to get to it. And that is that Meshery is under active diligence or active review for its graduation. Graduation is an inappropriate, overused term. Meshery is under active review for consideration of migrating from sandbox to incubation. There, I didn't use the word graduate. There are a couple of things that we're in need of tying off. One is Lennox, and is Bhumika with us? You guys are helping ensure that our tutorials are clean.
I don't think she's here right now, but yeah, we're currently going through that.
You got more of an update on that?
So in regards, well, we were doing the well, we were just checking the tutorials to see if like everything is going on well. Particularly in the WordPress one, I ended up like fixing the issue at like 1 a.m. So I'm gonna get working on that and just like updating that one. With the other ones, I do not think we're gonna have as much trouble, so it shouldn't take that long.
Okay. So that's with respect to layer 5 docs, which is wonderful. But with respect to Meshery docs, are either of the two of you working on those?
No, we haven't touched the Meshery docs ones yet.
Okay. All right. Let me take that off your plate. Okay. Yash, the second item is our adopter interviews. And it's been over 2 years since Meshery applied for incubation. And so we lined up some adopters earlier on. Some of those people have moved out of their roles. Like it's been a long, long time. I'm curious if our mutual friend at DigitalOcean is still a potential candidate for an adopter interview. What do you think?
I can reach out to him. We can start the discussion again. It's up to him to make the decision if he's willing to do that or not. So we can start a decision, and I can try to convince from with best of my abilities and see if this can go further. I'm hopeful, but I'll start email discussion with you, and, and maybe I can try to add him in the Slack if that works.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's great.
yeah.
One thing that might help him and help in that Slack or that email discussion is if we were to fill in the adopter interview questionnaire on his behalf and hand that to him for him to review or change, or and that might help him overcome some questions, help him get a better understanding of what's being expected. So it might
Yeah,
be
that
good.
will be helpful. Yeah.
So perhaps before we reach out, to help ensure that we've got to have that draft in hand. There are some suggested responses that he can consider and see.
Yeah, that will help him as well, since he's less aware. So this will give him like a go-to guide and to start like to understand everything and what he can expect from that interview. I'll probably ping him today then. When is the deadline and when can we expect the interview? Do we have any
I have no
idea?
idea. Jeez, man.
Okay.
It would certainly not be for a week and a half. Like that would be the earliest. But then, yeah.
Sure, I'll
Yeah.
ping him and see we can start a discussion.
Nice. Nice. Thank you. That's great. Yeah, those are super, super important. All right. Any comments or questions, on the incubation topic?
I have one question. So, what does I probably am not aware of the different levels of review or statuses that a project goes through in CNCF. What does review for getting from sandbox to incubation actually mean for the project and for like maintainers, contributors, or the users of the project?
Yeah, good question. Does anybody want to speak to that or fill in, part of it or all of it?
Sure, I can help the answer. Thanks for the question, Jay, and it's a good question. Well, if you're not aware, CNCF had three levels of maturity for the project. We currently were in the sandbox, and with each level up, we'll get more support from the CNCF as a community. And let's say if we move forward with the incubation, we'll get more support like from the marketing team and a lot of things that you can go and check out from the docs they have on the CNCF. So one of the reason is getting a lot more support, and also it gives a credibility for the project that it is ready for the production. So being a incubation project mean this project is credible and can be used in the production. So this is one of the most important for us, I think, making sure that we are getting that and users can trust with. Yeah, it's just a trust level which will increase with the project maturity. If there is anything else Lee wants to add, yeah, that's from my side.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Yash.
We'll leave this, drop this link into.
Yeah, thank you, Lee.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that or other questions? All righty. Wan Ming, you are up next.
Great. Hi. Hello. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me share my screen.
All right.
Okay. Link. This one. Okay. So I'm here sharing the follow-up with the Golang evaluation engine, and so basically we recently finished the evaluation engine, and this will conduct the discussion with Orbit, and there are 4 small follow-ups and checked in this issue, and will open 1 PR per item, and there are 3 of them are already up. And the first one is the engine was only reading the first item in the list, and that is the real bug identified. And in a few places, the engine looked at the list, but only read the first item and which is hard coded and ignore the rest. So if a pod had like three containers, only the first one was used. And if a container had like two ports, only the first one will be used. And the fix is kind of simple, and it will loop over the whole list instead of just like reading position zero hard coded. And if a design has one item in the list, the output is exactly the same as before. So I think that thing will be break. And here is a PR in like here to fix this issue. And it just followed the description I just said, and it will fix the hard-coded stuff. And I also have add the corresponding test for it, and then it passed like we expected. And we currently like look over each structure in both the front side and the to side, and we'll pair them to and pair them by the position. And if one side is shorter, we stop at the shorter length like this. Yeah. And second one is like the identify loop is
Yeah,
kind of
question on that,
yeah.
if I could. How is that persisted from evaluation to evaluation? How do we make sure that that position within the array is retained?
We first of all we sort it before we process do an evaluation stuff. And the second one, we will use the UID will build with like the front end two element and give it the unique UID to make it like unique between design between design. Yeah, we currently do that, and we can like maybe improve that in the future to make it more stable with more tests to guard this behavior, I think.
Okay, so once we've identified a relationship, it gets a unique identifier, a UUID.
Yeah.
That's part of the, okay. And then, yeah, and so I guess like we're not able to, well, because of this type of relationship, and maybe just because we don't have this functionality in general, are we able to selectively evaluate either specific portions of the design or the entire design, but only against specific policies? So it's kind of two questions in one, but they're both related to like the specificity by which we perform an evaluation, the constraints that are invoked for that specific evaluation moment. So the two parts of it. Yeah.
I see.
We have an on-the-fly load and unload of policies. That's kind of one of the questions, one way of asking it. The other way of asking it is, actually, maybe I'll stop and let you speak to that one first. Is that something that we have yet?
I don't think that is finished yet, but I think that is the good idea to make it more composable or like to evaluate by part of the policy. I think that might be useful, I think. So I can list down to make it a next work item to work on it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. What's one of for your and my, I guess, but for everyone else's understanding as well, in your mind, what's one of the bigger reasons or the best justification for working on that feature? Like, what's the biggest benefit from that?
I think to like more speed up for the large design to like do the essential policy evaluation would be better, since when the design get bigger, there if we always do the whole evaluation, engine stuff, it will be kind of slow. But if we can selectively run the evaluation engine for like in the front end or in the WebAssembly, it might can be more speed up for the design with like hundred of nodes or edges. Yeah, that is my thought currently.
Yeah, is that totally? Yeah, that's what I think as well. We should pause for a moment and just make sure that if other people have questions about that, or that now is the time. It's a really critical piece, a really critical capability within Meshery. Who is tracking with us? Okay, there's one thing that allow me to interject this, if you would. Guanming, do you happen to have a Meshery server or a Meshery playground up? I just want to look at Meshery UI for just a moment. I don't know if you've
Oh
got it.
no,
Okay.
no, I didn't run it since
That's all right.
yeah.
Does anybody else have it up? I'll pull it up. Okay. It's sad that 30 people on the call and nobody's actually running the tool. Okay, I get it. All right, here's the tool.
Thanks.
And there's an area that pertains to this particular discussion. The discussion is about the evaluation engine inside of Meshery and the fact that to date, or not to date, previously, the evaluation engine would execute Rego policies, or policies written in Rego, which is the open policy agent language of choice. So Meshery embeds OPA. Guanming has significantly helped Meshery also have the ability to use Golang as it's the language for evaluating its policies, for expressing and evaluating its policies. That comes with a little extra work, but it also comes with a lot more control, and we finally get to put to bed a few bugs that we've had around for some time. So that's the topic in general that we're speaking of. There's an item that I wanted to highlight. It's probably best to just highlight it in the UI. And that is when you're looking at a design, there's a number of actions that you can take as a user. This is a private design. This one's public, so anybody. And then if you look through here, you might find some that are also published. It's kind of those three statuses. Anyway, here's a design. You can invoke actions on them, like look at or edit its info. Ooh. Look at and stalk the person that created it. Or just, just trying to make Linux feel uncomfortable. Just keep looking at Linux. Anyway, you can edit it. You can open it in a visual designer if this extension is loaded. You can download it in a couple of different forms. Cool. Anyway, there's a lot of actions. There's other actions over here. There's a lot. As a matter of fact, the UI needs a little bit of a redesign. Not a, like the whole thing could be redesigned, sure, but just a little bit of help would be, oh, these actions aren't necessarily any more special than these, or some of them you can categorize and put together. Sure, you can group them because they're related. But the fact that we're presenting it like this right now, here's some actions and here's some other ones, probably they should all be under actions, or it's just too many to present to the users. It becomes a little overwhelming. It would be nice if someone on this call made an attempt at putting most, if not all 4 of these into here. Maybe tried to identify a grouping, maybe a horizontal row or something. Just here's this group of actions. Here's another one, something. Sorry, that isn't actually why I brought this up. The reason I brought this up is because, believe it or not, out of all the actions that we have, we're still missing an action. No, we're not missing in action. We're missing an action. It's just that whenever Jay thinks it's funny, then I can't help but think it's funny. And so it just messes me up. Okay. What action are we missing from here? We were just talking about a particular subject. Guanming is working on it. He's working on this engine. The engine does a thing. It's a verb. It is an action. For all the money. Boom! Jay got it. Evaluate. Yeah, that's right. We're missing. Oh my goodness. We are missing evaluate. We do not have evaluate on this page. What is going on? We kind of do. There's a little bit of evaluate, validation, eval, validate. They're very similar words. And some other actions, but we're literally missing evaluate. That's an open request for anyone that's on the call. We actually need it pretty quickly. And there's a REST API that's already there. We just need a button that you press that posts to that REST endpoint. It's like super simple. The REST endpoint should toast or should notify users with messages down here or messages that they can view up here. Yeah. So thanks. I needed to interject for a moment to call that out because this is actually, we're egregiously missing that. So yeah, if there's any volunteers, please, mentions in chat or in Slack or chat or something. There's a second component to Guanming. If you don't mind sharing one more time, there was a part 2 to my question. So just for everyone else's benefit, the part 1 of my question was, it's a little harder to understand, actually. Let me skip to part 2 and explain it, and then Guanming, you can answer this as well. Fine. It's best if I share again. Here's the second question. Here is a design that Linux has cloned and is working on and familiarizing with, and turns out in terms of the JSON or the YAML that's underneath, holy smokes. And this isn't even a big design per se. Or like when you look at it visually, it's, I don't know, maybe 10, I'm just guessing, components or something. And that would not be a large design, which means the number here can get quite big. And from Meshery's perspective, yeah, at some point, man, if it's a 4 megabyte piece of YAML or JSON, yeah, it starts to get a little unwieldy. It's not, like if we can, performance starts to become a concern. In general, it's not so much of a concern from a user experience perspective. We're not really asking people too much to go write this out. If we're way on the wrong side. We're very, very verbose. We're not asking them to do that. Rather, we're trying to provide tooling that helps them avoid having to do that. So these can get quite large. My second question to Guanming is, does our evaluation engine, or it's a poorly phrased question. Can we submit partial designs to the engine? And do we handle that? I mean, we can, but the question is more like, do we have intelligence yet that will help ensure that when you receive a partial design, when we perform an evaluation that either adds or removes or updates or whatever relationships, that those do or do not screw up the rest of the, like, yeah, do we have support for partial submissions?
I think if the user submit the partial design for the evaluation and that the partial design is kind of I think I'll say that complete if it meet our minimum requirement about the design, and if it's self-content, I think it can handle it. And if we, I think the user loop would be like the front end can submit like partial design and it is small component of the a really big design of like the 4 MB design. And if that part is kind of simple, and I think currently the evaluation could be handled that design, but it can not have that intelligence to like define or find the whole design. It can find those small pieces within the big design. It just can't handle the small component inside evaluation. So I think that it will make my more discussions about the implementation and the cooperation with the front end side to design a better user loop to like submit part of the design to like speed up the design evaluation. Yes, that is my personal thought.
Yeah, even if the UI sent over what appears to be a complete design to the evaluation engine, sans or without a number of components, the eval engine in its current state wouldn't care. It would just perform an evaluation and respond back. It's like, you gave me a complete document, or what appears to be a complete document, or rather it is a complete document. You just chose to temporarily remove certain components, like the UI did. The part, and so your answer, like largely your answer is, well, shoot, yeah, if the UI, we're just going to do what's asked of us. So, if the UI is asking, if the client is asking us to evaluate a partial, then we'll evaluate the partial just like we always do, or that, they just need to give us an actual JSON document. How much is included in it, or JSON or YAML document? They need to give us a design. How much is included is up to them. So yeah, of course, we'll just respond accordingly. What's the question, Lee? Well, it's like, well, because I mean, that's part of the response, Guan Ming, like that's a fair and good response. But the more precisely articulated part of that question is, if we were to take this design, and so please, when we're through with this discussion, if you would just capture what we're saying in written word into one of the issues that you're tracking, please.
Okay.
Here's the question, or here's the finer point on that. That is, so I realize this is an important topic, and I realize it takes a long time, but how many of you have been inside of a design, maybe like this one? If we, looks like we have a bug. If you're inside of a large design and you, hopefully we don't have a bug here. Okay, that's a private design, so that's probably, here's one. It is a super small design. It has one object. Comment. Man, I wish our hotkeys worked. As the design grows and grows and grows and grows, it can take a while to evaluate it. The engine up here spins, it evaluates it, and looks for relationships. As it grows, it can take a long time, and that's what my two questions are aimed at. Is the first question was, of the policies that we use to evaluate these components and how they relate to one another, can we on the fly load and unload policies? The reason that becomes important and it is about performance, like Guanming said, but it's extremely relevant. Of the policies that we load, eventually each model will hopefully come, or they might come with some of their own policies. And if this model is loaded and I'm not using components from that model, including its policies in my evaluation moment is just a pure waste of time. And I have to sit here and let this spin longer. And it's like, look, let's not load them all up. Let's just load in what's pertinent. In this discussion, it's easy to get confused, the difference between a policy and a relationship definition. It's super easy to conflate. I'm speaking about a policy. So yeah, the on-the-fly load and unload of policies, that would be nice on me. What would also be nice is a partial eval of a partial document. And the way that the backend would support it is if I hand this to the backend and it has these three components, but it's taking a long time, or whether it's taking a long time or just I don't care about this component that's way over there, and maybe things are going to happen to it, maybe not. But what I care about right now in my viewport is a partial design, just these two. That's all I care about. So instead of waiting 5 minutes for this to execute, I'm exaggerating, right? I just want these two to evaluate. But what I do not want is a response back that has subsequently deleted the 18 relationships that this thing had to the other 24 components over there. And that's how the backend needs to support it. So yeah. And one simple way I think of accomplishing that as we go to move on is to just ensure that the partial design that's sent over is fully inclusive of all existing relationships. It's that portion of the design that's sent isn't a partial. It would be like a hard requirement that all relationships are always sent, even though the referenced components might be gone, and that the post that's sent, it might need to specify that this is a partial, not a full eval. Like we might need to specify the type of eval. So that way, when the engine evaluates and says, yeah, you've got all these relationships, but there aren't even components that these things implicate. So I'll just delete them. That's what it would normally do. But that's the enhancement that I'm asking for. Okay.
Okay, I see. I got a little question that how do we decide which part of the whole design should we evaluate when it like sent to request the partial design? Since from backend perspective, we cannot really understand which part of the perspective that user is request for the partial design. So
Totally.
yeah.
That's the client's job. You're right. The client still needs to participate in that exchange. It needs to honor some of the rules that we were just now making up. You have to give irrespective of how many components you have in the design, you have to give a design that is fully inclusive of all relationships That would be one of the rules that the client has to adhere to. Secondarily, the client would signal that this is I want a partially eval, not a full. And then between those, it would be that contract.
Okay, I see. That makes sense. And maybe we can also like incorporate with the WebAssembly, maybe in the future, WebAssembly evaluation engine to like handle little easy or simple partial design on the client side to make the the site responds more faster when it encountered a more large engine, I think. Yeah.
Raglava, you are up next. Does anybody have any other questions or on that topic? I apologize that it takes that long. I'm hoping that it benefits everyone for us to stop for a moment and stop speaking gobbledygook. Did that help anybody? All right, on to the next topic.
So hello everyone. Actually, we have already discussed about this topic before some weeks. So this agenda item is more like a call to action, so that these vulnerabilities or risk are mitigated. So in the last 2 days as well, there was a major NPM supply chain attack, and it happened with similar issues that we have currently in our workflows. And we have been, the security team in the Zmail also had received emails regarding what it is. And I think that this is just more of a discussion regarding how we should move forward, and I think we should move forward pretty fast now, because these are getting left, right, and center. The majorly two of the workflows are not just two, but mainly build and preview docs, and the UI and server test are the ones that are majorly affected by this vulnerability issue, that is pull request target. So yeah, I just wanted to have some discussions, and we need to make sure that we are secure. Yeah.
Great one.
I
Agreed.
think that this has already been discussed, and the
Yeah.
work that Jan is currently doing is to address this issue by splitting the builds in smaller pieces and ensure that the only part that need to be that need to use the pull request target is used, and instead of applying to the all to all the workflow, excuse me. But
I think you are muted, Matthew.
Sorry. Where I stopped, from the beginning.
No, not the beginning.
Okay. No, I was saying that I think that Jan has already starting work on this, and what he's doing currently, it's splitting in small pieces, and the only place where we need the right permission will be used at the right place. That will at the end fix that. But yes, it's something that we need to take care, because currently with the aging of AI, there are a lot of issues that will come up pretty soon for everyone. We have seen this in other projects recently. So yeah, we need to take care about it.
Yeah, I knew that we had a discussion, and I just saw an email today, and I just thought, man, we should work on this faster. Yeah, that was all from my side.
I don't know if you are on the thread with Jan, who is doing some update every 2-3 days around this. So perhaps we can. He had opening pull requests that just need to be reviewed, so he can merge and validate that
Ye-
it's working.
Yeah, I can
But
speak
yes,
to this a little bit more. So yeah, we are trying to address this. I'm mainly focused on the build UI and server to try and decompose that. One of the issues is that we have secrets in there. And previously we had a lot of secrets as far as like our Docker username and password, our test username and password, and we also have I think the GitHub workflow token is also being leveraged to write against the Meshery QA. So these are the issues that we're trying to solve so that we can go from pull request target back to pull request. Because those secrets aren't available then if you check out a forked branch. So what I've done in the meantime is I have decomposed how we build the UI using the Docker file, and then just running the tests, the end-to-end test using just the local provider. So hopefully that will be able to run on PRs. That is ready, and I was gonna post something in chat just to see if we could cut over to it, see if there's any breaking changes on that workflow on PRs, and then continue to iterate on it to achieve parity against the pull request or the push to master. We need to essentially get the Allure reporting publishing into its own separate workflow that takes inputs in an artifact and pull that out of the build, Meshery, and server workflow steps. This will allow us to then be able to have those kind of composable. So we have a split or kind of a dimension on the security. So something runs on a PR, on the forked branches, on pull requests, and then on push, we run a more extensive end-to-end tests, and we also publish the alert reports. So I think we're ready to cut over on the PR pull request, but not necessarily on push to master. So what we can do is we can kind of be in the state where we reuse the build UI and server workflow, update that trigger just to push, and then use the decomposed PR workflow when we open synchronize on a pull request and see what comes out of that and kind of iterate from there. There's kind of a lot of hardening in this space, but yeah, it's a kind of touches a lot. So yeah, help is definitely wanted because I don't have necessarily the developer hours to kind of spend on this. So yeah, if any help is appreciated. Questions?
None from my side. Yeah, it sounds good. Thank you, Ian.
Yeah, one of the things that Ian just said, I think, is a great way of thinking through this. There's a couple of different vantage points from which to understand what workflow is being run, when, what does it cover. We think of a lot of the workflows as continuous integration, right? Building the software or testing the software. Some of it is continuous delivery as well. Some of the workflows are just gosh, what do you call it? Housekeeping. Adding a label to a pull request. So it's not building the software. It's not deploying a piece of software. It's like there's a range. There's quite a range of various things. So anyway, one of the vantage points from which to think of this, specifically from the security perspective, I think is what Ian had just said, which is outside of the vantage point, what are all of these doing? Are they duplicative? Are they efficient? Like that. That's a set of questions there. But another one is, when do they trigger? And from the security-centric lens, what Ian just said, I think perhaps is the right one to the lens to look at things from is when are they triggered, and in what moment do they run? And that moment, what is that moment? Is this a trusted individual? Is this a trusted environment? What's the sensitivity of the secrets? What's the sensitivity of the read and write? Anyway, like if you start from there, from what Ian just said, I think you're able to classify things security wise. You're able to classify them pretty well. Because it's
Yeah, I
about
think. Yeah, and as you're going through and making contributions, I think the biggest thing is if you're on a pull request target, try to keep the secrets out of that workflow as best you can. Think of a different way. Think of, yeah, if it needs to run on a pull request or if it needs to run on push to master. Push to masters, that's kind of the we've approved it, right? So it can increase its security clearance, I guess you could say, and assume, more access, I guess. So on pull requests, try not to introduce any more secrets because we've taken a lot of effort trying to get them out so that we can revert back to a pull request, which is recommended by GitHub, versus the pull request target. And then we check out the head of the incoming fork, which is where we're at the most kind of security risk. Again, a lot of learnings in the space, things that I'm learning since I coming on to this effort. So yeah, don't be afraid to ask questions.
right. And then up next we've got Olulai, are you with us? Because you have an open pull request on this very topic.
Yep.
Oh yeah, hey, yeah, nice. Do you want to, since we only have a couple minutes left anyway, it's probably best if we try to continue on this topic and
Okay.
have you talk about that PR if you would. Talk about the fix that you're proposing for making us a bit more secure, specifically on the docs deployment previews.
So can you see my screen?
Yep.
11.
Mhm.
So for the build and preview docs YAML, I remove the write permission, so basically it should be read. And so this checks whenever the PR has been closed. So if it's matched, it's automatically closed, and the output gets into an artifact. And yeah, for the checkouts.
Do you have a question? Let me interrupt, because without the write, where does the deployment preview get hosted? Where do the build artifacts land?
So it lands into this virtual, it's running on the Ubuntu. It lands there in the virtual environment, and yeah, it checks out the PR, and basically just removing the write permission in the
Yep. All right. You're not answering my question. Yeah. Good. And if you don't know, just say, dude, I don't know. I've only gotten so far into it. It's fine. Like, that's fine. But what's the purpose of this workflow? What does it ultimately accomplish?
will remove the write access whenever you make a PR to build and preview, and make it functional as the way it's meant to work. So yeah.
No, wait, what does this workflow do?
Like I said, it removes the write access.
No. I'm not asking about your changes. I'm saying this workflow, build and hyphen preview. What does it do? What I'm saying is that the first change that you're making breaks the workflow and doesn't allow it to accomplish what it's supposed to do. And that's fine to be secure, but if we're not handling that some other way, then the workflow is worthless. And so that's what I'm at. Like, it's okay. I'm not trying to harp on you or anything. You weren't
So
directly.
it remove this permission, it's run this to ignore any script. So basically, whenever you are building a Node.js project, it checks the permission. So if you insert a script into the package.json, whenever you are building it, it runs the
Cool.
script.
Let's stop. Olala, stop. What does the workflow do? I'm not asking about your changes. That's great that we have an ignore scripts. What's the purpose and point of the workflow in the first place?
The point of the workflow, just to add in the security. I don't know if I answered that right. Adding the security.
Well, yeah, no, okay, yeah, actually, that is the purpose of your pull request, to enhance the security of the continuous integration that we're doing.
Yeah.
But the purpose of the workflow, like if you were to go back in time a month ago, before we
Okay.
even had this conversation, this workflow is present. Why? What is it doing? What's its job? And let me answer that for you, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Would that be helpful?
Yeah.
A good, and you'll want to, this happens more and more and more to folks. Changes are suggested, and not everybody has a comprehension of what they're changing. This particular workflow, its purpose is it's in part to help facilitate pull request reviews. So anytime that someone makes a change to documentation, whether it's an image or CSS or HTML or Markdown or what have you, anytime that they make a change to one of the files in Meshery docs, this workflow is in, and they open up a pull request, the workflow is invoked. It just does a build of Meshery docs. So we're using Hugo currently, and it compiles the static HTML and JavaScript files. It then hosts that. It writes to a temporary branch, I believe. In that branch, that's our GitHub pages. So we're using this repository, and this is part of how we can both become more secure, or become secure, not more secure, but become secure, and still allow the workflow to do what it needs to do. Is part of our problem is that within the same workflow, we have that write permission where some unknown contributor comes through, makes a change, we perform our build, we write back to our own repo, and it's sort of that writing back to our own repo that's one of the significant issues, and it's in the first few lines that you have here. The point of the workflow is to build it and comment back on the pull request, saying here's a preview of your changes. Here's a preview, a build of the changes that you just submitted. You can click here to see those in action. Super, super helpful whenever you're going to review someone's work. It's one thing to look at the lines of code, and then it's another thing to look at the outcome of it. And so this is helping take the outcome of changes that they've made to the docs, doing a temporary build, hosting it, so writing it somewhere, in this case, writing it back to our very same repo, and then placing a comment on the pull request. With that understanding, you're now equipped to both secure it like you are, but also ensure that you're not rendering it completely worthless, which at the moment, it sounds like you are. And that's okay. That's why you're getting some feedback today. Does any of that help? What does this workflow do? Let me ask that question again, see if it helped.
Sorry, my alarm is.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
So just like you said,
what does the workflow do? If you don't know, and if you didn't quite get what I just said, that's
yeah,
fine.
it's basically what you said. That's what it does. The same thing you said.
That's a great answer, man. Whatever you just said.
Yeah,
Well, shit,
just
that's right. You're right. Oh, damn, great answer. Okay. All right, go back, watch the recording. Come back next time with a complete and robust and understanding of what you're working on, and hey, I really appreciate that you're working on this. Thank you very much. And with that understanding, you'll be in a sweet spot to fix it. It'll be really helpful. I mean, so thanks. Don't feel bad about today's presentation. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, hey, I don't know half the stuff I work on or what have you, but it still helps and it still works and stuff. So the changes that you're making, they look like they get us into a more secure position. That's wonderful. They also look like they don't accomplish, like the workflow doesn't work anymore. Does that make sense? Ola, we will be past this awkward moment momentarily, but I want us to come closer together and to be open and honest with one another. Does it make sense what I just said or not?
Yeah, so that aside, um, for the other documented issues here, there's an issue on Meshery Cloud that
You are a master of evading the discussion. We just not gonna, and I don't allow people to do it. And it's part of why we're so popular. It's because people get held accountable. Do you have, are you comfortable with what that workflow does just yet? Or is that something
Yes.
that you need some time to review?
Yes, I am.
Okay, what does it do?
It builds the workflow and gives
The workflow builds the workflow. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go slip my wrists. And good. Hey, just go back and review if you would watch the recording. Don't watch that last part where I poke my eye out with my microphone, but maybe just watch the recording. Come back. Same topic next week. It'll be wonderful. You'll be making light of this and you'll be making fun of me poking my eye out. You can ask me if I'm wearing makeup to cover up my black eye. Also, I recommend printing out my face and punching it, just to, help make sure I have a black eye. So, okay, we're out of time. I think that it's super, super, super important for us to have discussions like the one that we just did, because Ololai is here to stay and he's going to do some awesome work, and I'm here to support him, and so are all the rest of you. Nobody else on this call except for Ranak and a couple of others that work on that very workflow could have answered that question either. So, I mean, so thank you, Olalai, for going through that with us. It's good. That's good. Hey, shoot, we're at 10 minutes over. So did anybody have anything urgent that we need to cover? Yeah, this is good. I mean, anyway, so Olalai, thanks for getting the PR up so darn fast too from yesterday. That security issue is like, we don't want to be in the frontline news or the headliner on the next, like, this project got owned, just like Lennox was saying. So, or not Lennox, Pugalva was saying. Okay, well, good. Well, hey, Matthew, anything else just before we take off?
Just there's a lot of pull requests that are currently open for Meshery tier, Meshery server. I'm trying to give time to review all of them, but I have a lot of things on my plate at my job. So if people can check the pull request review, and it will help. Yes, that's it.
Contributors helping contributors. Okay, I like it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good for every contributor that asks for someone to perform a review. Perhaps they should come in the other hand with like, and here's the review I gave of someone else's PR. Like, maybe quid pro quo. All right. Well, thanks. Hey, same time next week. We'll be here. I'll be here with a black eye. Ololai will be here with a big fat grin on his face when I have a black eye. So it'll be all right. Okay. See you guys. See you next week.
See you guys.